So now let's talk some Florida Gator football. Frank Frangie and Matt Hayes. We're going to kick it right off with the first-team All-American center from a year ago, Jake Slaughter from the Florida Gators, who joins us now. Jake, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
You told me during the break you're having fun. Has this been fun kind of hanging around here?
No, it has. It's been a fun day, and it's a tremendous honor to be here and represent my guys.
Tell us a little bit about your background. You told us off air. I'm going to let you tell our listeners now as well. Grew up in Ocala.
Yes, sir.
Been a football player all along. You like to hunt and fish when you're not playing. How did this whole football thing, how did you go from that to the first-team All-American center?
You know, I wouldn't say that was always like the thing. I always just loved playing ball. I loved being around the guys, just being with my buddies. And, I knew I wanted to play college football, work my tail off in high school to get to college. And then it was funny. Just work your way up through college and play your best ball and look around and you get prestigious honor.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's like in the off season. I saw you got the paver with all the other Florida All-Americans. Such a wonderful way to explain and show everyone you are the elite of the elite at the school. It's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So this team last year, you guys went through a lot the 2 previous years. When did it turn? When did you guys feel like it turned? That you guys were headed in the right direction?
You know, it was kind of interesting because the results weren't immediate. But for me, we played Mississippi State, and then we had a bye week. And in that bye week, we kind of changed our practice format. You're in a bye week, ain't playing on Saturday, so you go to work. It's a lot of good on good. It's not a scrimmage every day, but you're playing 1s-on-1s and 2s-on-2s. You're going out there and mixing it up. So we started keeping score of everything. 1-on-1 pass rush, 1-on-1 wide receiver DB, running routes. Everything was 1 or 0. You either won or you didn't. And, if it was an efficient run, you got a point. If the defense stopped you, it was a point for them. A tackle for loss is 2 points for them. And, it turned into just such a competitive atmosphere. And, guys really bought in. There was a huge mindset shift in the locker room. Guys stepped up in leadership roles that maybe they weren't in before. And, it was really interesting and really neat to be a part of.
Jake, I can tell you, this offensive line group, the fact that you're all back together, the fact that Austin Barber is going to be an NFL left tackle, the fact that Damian George kind of found himself, I think, as a guard, better guard than he was a tackle. It's rare to get a group like that, and IJ Ali need to put in there too. It's rare to get a group like that back. What does it mean to have that many of you back that played together, and that's why people are calling it one of the best lines in the country?
I think continuity is such a big thing in offensive line play. I think that, having all of us back, all 4 of us back, and then, Bryce Levitt, Rod Kearney, guys that played a bunch of snaps last year and really kind of came into their own. I think continuity is so big in the development of a group. The cohesion. When you're in the fire with a guy, you really kind of understand, how do I need to communicate to him? What does this look like through his perspective? And, our thing in the O-line room is we're 5 = 1. You need 5 guys looking through one lens at the same time.
Jake, so when you explain to everyone, I guess, the idea and the concept of playing offensive line, how difficult it is, number one, and number two, how you've grown since the first time you went out there in your first start. What was that like, your first SEC start, to now where you are a returning All-American?
It was funny. I look back, my first start was at Utah, and I didn't play very well. I had an okay game, but gave up a sack, and, it just wasn't – I was out there shaking, man. I hadn't played a football game since high school. I was in year 3. And, funny, a few months ago, Coach Napier looked at me, and, he was giving me a hard time. He goes, buddy, I looked at you before the game, and I knew you were in for it. Maybe not that, but, he was giving me a hard time.
Right.
He said you were wearing it. You could tell I was nervous. But, there's so much growth, and, it's something that, for me, and, a lot of guys kind of share this, is you got to go out there and just go play. And, you get so much from those in-game reps and understanding situational football and the way that guys are in games, because – you can practice till you're blue in the face, but those game reps get you so much better.
And that's grown men you're dealing with in the SEC, too. Grown men, first-round picks. That's big-time ball.
DJ Lagway, he's going to join us in a little bit, but when he was at the podium, he said one of the best things was having you in front of him, line calls, helping him understand. He's a freshman. Tell me about him. What's he like? We've watched him as a player. It's his team. What's it like in the huddle? What kind of command of the huddle does he have? Tell us some stuff about DJ maybe we don't know.
Yeah, so he has such great command in the huddle and in the locker room, on the field, because the guys just respect him as a man and as a teammate. The way that he pours into his guys, he takes care of his guys. I can't stress that enough. He's a student of the game. He studies. He's starting to see the big picture so well. He knows what all 22 guys are going to be doing, and that's such a big part of playing quarterback. That's the way guys view him. So that's the biggest thing with DJ. And I also think he's selling himself short a little bit. He knew what was going on. He let me drive the boat for a little bit.
Right. You guys are kind of overlooked here. Have you noticed that? I mean, you're kind of overlooked all off season. Do you guys feel like you can have a big splash this year in this league?
We're just so ready to go mix it up. We're ready to go compete every day, every game.
All right, so you grew up in Ocala, so you're around the Gator stuff. You know the Gator football. And the reality is Florida for a long time, when you were a little kid, was elite.
Right.
Okay, well, hadn't been elite for a while. But this could be the team that brings that back. It feels that way.
Right.
Again, I think from a talent standpoint, it looks like a really talented team at just about every spot. What would it mean to be the group that kind of brings Florida back?
So I'll tell you, I grew up around Gator football. It was all I wanted when I was a kid. I wanted to be a player. Yeah, I wanted to be a Gator, and it would mean the world to me. It's such an honor to be a player and to kind of have the role that I've stepped into, and it would mean so much to me to be part of that group that brought Florida back to where we're supposed to be.
Jake, were you guys at any point playing for Billy last year, like knowing the idea of the pressure he was under?
I think we did a great job of blocking out the noise, but at the same time, everybody's on social media. The noise is the noise. You're going to hear it. And I wouldn't say we're playing for Coach Napier's job, because that's not the truth. We're playing for each other. We're playing to prove each other right. We know the work that we put in to get to the point we're at. But, there is a sense of, we love Coach Napier because of the man that he is, the integrity, the character that he has, and, he's a good football coach. So I think there's a little bit to say about, we want to go play for Coach Napier.
Did that help as well? Did that help, you think, the momentum you guys gained in the second half?
I would say it was definitely part of it.
Yeah.
Final thing. Coach Napier talks about culture a lot. And by the way, and we all know this, the book has been the story is still unwritten about Billy Napier. Will he make it? Will he not? Will he be on the hot seat? We like you said, we're all on social media, but nobody debates he's a good dude. I think even the people that don't want him to be the coach, nobody debates that. How important is culture? How important is, he said there's a lot of leaders on this team. How much can that help you get to kind of where you guys want to be?
I think it's such a big part of his program, it being player-led. He needs guys to step up and take the role. He needs players to do it because, the honest truth is the best football teams year-round, the players run the show. Accountability is ran through the players. You don't need a coach to hold your hand to hold the guy accountable. So I think, culture is something we got to protect daily, and we build it daily. It's one of those things that if you're not working on it, you're losing it.
Jake Slaughter, the All-American Center. I can see why people are excited about you, man. Thank you for spending some time. Have fun at this thing. This thing's supposed to be fun.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.